Okay, welcome to the video. I haven't come up with a name for this channel yet. It's gonna have something to do with metal, because of the fact that most of the things in my life that I do have to do with metal. I'm a welder by trade, an amateur bladesmith, knife collector, knife enthusiast, a lot of things in my life have to do with metal, so I'll come up with some kind of name having to do with metal, like metal stuff, or maybe all things metal, or steel talk, I don't know. We'll think of something. This is my first video, and I thought a good way to kick this off would be to talk about one of my favorite knives of all time, the PM2, the Paramilitary 2 by Spyderco. This particular one has titanium scales sold by Flytanium. These are the classic design. They also sell a, they call it the Crossfade titanium scales, which have a little bit more milling on them. Actually, I have their Crossfade scales on my bug out. Let me grab that, so you can kind of see what the Crossfade ones look like. They're not exactly similar, or they're not exactly the same as the bug out scales, but you can see they kind of have this. Let me get in the center of the camera here. This, just more milling, more contouring, which I like. I like the bug out Crossfade scales, but I didn't quite like them as much on the Paramilitary 2. So I went with just the classic, flat, non-contoured scales. I think it looks great. I recently added a brass lanyard hole stopper, and that was also from Flytanium. They have a couple different options there. This is the stepped version. They also have one with crosshairs on it, and one other one, I forget what it is. And then also I have an aftermarket deep carry clip on this knife. This is from Lynch Northwest. Titanium anodized to be green, and it's a little scratched, but it's holding up pretty good, and I like it a lot more than the stock clip, which is not a deep carry clip. So those are the mods that are on this knife. Now let's talk about the knife itself. Let's measure our blade length. The PM2 is a very popular knife, so this is old news for most people, but until a couple of years ago, I was completely new to the knife world, and I had no idea. So don't feel bad if you're still learning about all this stuff. I am too. Let's see. We have a blade length of about 3 3/8. I'm not sure what that is in decimal. The cutting edge is almost exactly 3, maybe 3 1/16. It's kind of hard to measure since it's curved. Overall length is 7 1/4, about 7 1/4. I need to get a longer ruler. I think this is one of my longest knives. The handle is 4.75 or 4 3/4. So it's a big knife. I don't have a Paramilitary 2 to compare it with, but the Paramilitary 3, or the Para 3 is its baby brother or baby sister. This knife is featuring the compression lock, which a lot of Spyderco knives sport. The compression lock is a Spyderco lock. They have a patent on it. And it's basically a liner lock that they've moved to the back of the knife. So a typical, let me grab one to demonstrate. A typical knife, or I shouldn't say typical, but, well, yeah, I'll say typical. Typical knife, the locking mechanism is in the front of the knife between the two scales there. And to close it, there we go. You push it aside, and the blade is able to swing closed. The same thing is happening on the PM3, or sorry, I keep getting those confused. Paramilitary 2, I need to write it down so I don't keep doing that. The same thing is happening on the PM2, but it's on the back of the knife here, and you can see it acts kind of the same. You push it aside, and the knife closes. Now, the advantage of it being on the back of the knife is you can close the knife with your fingers never being in the path of the knife. So my fingers are totally out of the way, and I can close the knife without my fingers ever getting into this area here. A liner lock, a typical liner lock knife, what I'm going to do is push aside that liner lock. Its blade's going to fall here, and then I can just shake it shut like that. But, you know, my thumb is in the path of the blade. If I was not paying attention or clumsy or something and I went to close it, you know, ouch. So that's one of the main reasons I really enjoy the compression lock. Not to mention it's just kind of fidgety. It's just, you know, it's just fun. You can do the reverse flick or the regular thumb flick. Or if you hold down the compression lock, you can just kind of use gravity to fling it open like that. I don't usually open it that way, but for me, the most comfortable way is the reverse flick. Move my finger over and just hit that lock. So, the compression lock is a great design. Really nice. You know, everyone loves it. It's a great design. Ergonomically, this knife is a dream. It fits so well in your hand. It's just, I mean, you can grip it back here. You can move your thumb up here for more support, or you can choke all the way up here. If I'm doing some detail work, or I want to get really close to the edge with my hand, I grab it here and then I place my thumb up over top, and it's just real nice for detail work. You have a lot of control of the knife that way. That's usually how I hold it, but you know, you have some options here, which I like. Very comfortable. I don't feel the clip at all really when I'm gripping the knife. The stocks, the stock clip was the same way. I didn't, you know, wasn't a hot spot on my hand when I was grabbing the knife. The blade steel on this particular model is S45VN, which is kind of a newer steel. As far as I know, I'm no metallurgist at all, but I was familiar with S35VN before they came out with S45VN, and I'm not going to pretend to know anything about the differences between the two, really. All I know is that this knife holds an edge extremely well. I've been carrying it a lot lately. I've had it in my pocket for about 3 weeks straight now, and there is no noticeable dulling in the knife. I haven't sharpened it, I haven't stropped it, I haven't done anything to it, which is pretty freaking awesome. As far as for lefties, it's a little more difficult for me to do it left-handed, but that's just because it's not my dominant hand. But it's absolutely doable. It just takes me a little bit more time to kind of fumble around with it. Absolutely doable though. So I would call this an ambidextrous knife. The stock scales give you the ability to switch the clip to left or right, top or down. But these aftermarket Plytanium scales only allow for right-handed tip-up carry. So that's pretty much it. Let's see. Well, I could show you a couple of these while we're here. I'm probably gonna have full reviews on most of these knives down the line. This is the CAGRB Malaya. It's a tiny little front flipper. This might be the most fun knife that I have to fidget with. You can open it so many different ways. You got the front flipper, you can reverse flick it, you can thumb flick it, you can do this over the top deal, whatever you want to call that. You can do over the top front flip. Let's see what else. You can even use your pointer finger on the reverse flick. So I don't know, it's really fun. It's got a very clicky detent. I love it. I love it. They have a larger version too called the More Malaya, which I want to get. I haven't got around to it yet. This is a fun little knife. And the rest of these I'll save for the full reviews. How about that? Don't want to give away too much. All right, that's about it. Thanks for watching, guys. You know, I'm new to this whole making videos thing, so any critiques are welcome. Any pointers, any ideas of ways I can improve, just let me know. Whoa.